What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back with more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the 4th edition, our own personal Rise of the Forsaken campaign. I am your GM for the night, Jumbo Thick, as you all might know, and I am joined once again by my troop of adventurers. I still don't like any of the names we've been given. Were there any that stuck out to the two of you that you might be interested in?
Gosh. There was one or two, I think, that I thought was funny.
Okay, well, in the second half, we'll get back to you on that. But we need to get a move on as of now. So I'm joined once again by Mr. Jumbo Smooth and Doobie209. If you guys want to briefly introduce yourselves before we get into it.
Hey everyone, I'm Jumbo Smooth. I'll be playing the role of Marius Wolf. Strong man, lady killer, and yeah.
Yeah. On death's door, hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. No.
And Doobie.
What's going on, guys? Doobie209 here, playing Seamus McGreedy. Pretty much the opposite of everything that Marius is. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to collect all the corruption points I can get my hands on right now.
Indeed we can. And I actually had a comment in the comment section about the corruption mechanic. And this would be a good reminder for you as well, since you have so many. Once your corruption points gather and they bypass your toughness bonus plus your willpower bonus, you will immediately mutate. And then we will roll on the mutation. Well, I already know what your mutation is going to be because we rolled for it a while back. But currently, there's only a handful of ways at your disposal to get rid of corruption, and we will we'll see how it goes as we go through today's episode. You might find out some things. So, yeah, you might want to get that back down because what are you at currently? 5?
I am currently at 5. So I got room for a couple more.
Yeah, 3 more, if I remember correctly.
Yep. 3 more.
So, whew. Okay then. Let's see how this goes. All right. Well, last we left off, our merry band had made it into the land of Nippon, as we all know. They were set upon by dark elves, survived that more than once. You were also tricked and drugged in a nearby village of the locals. You were mauled by a tiger in the woods. What else did we add to the list here? Oh yes, you went on some epic journey after you were captured and freed. You managed to find some interesting items on your way up this mountain path that you have been following after all of your gear was taken from you and possibly blown up when your cart exploded. You managed to get most of your things, you think. You're not sure. But
not my points.
The bug vince is gone. You managed to then, after surviving all of that, you met a very interesting dark elf, Mr. Fenris, who was not long for this world, as he was slain by some kind of creature in the aforementioned Hellforge, I believe we have dubbed it, where Seamus found his sword, and Marius found a very interesting mask. You climbed the mountain in pursuit and possibly following some kind of vision quest that Marius had went on earlier. And after 3 days of travel up a mountain, a lot of stairs. You came to the top, which was shrouded in mist as you were actually in the clouds, or so you believe. You were then set upon 2 rather imposing ogres, which you slayed with ease, that were guarding a large gate and the entrance to a almost temple-like monastery, which appeared to be relatively lightly guarded for some reason. You entered said monastery with a very good set of rolls and managed to find your way, bypass all the twists and turns and maze-like rooms that I had designed for apparently no reason. You then set upon and slain 2 sets of guards easily. But not so easily, you came upon the source of this kind of chanting and just probably had just the notion that this might be the equivalent of the boss room in this aforementioned dungeon. Wink, wink. And you imbibed both of you, for the first time, Seamus, imbibed the essence of Tarkag, that elixir that you guys were given by Mother Ingo so long ago. And with it, you slew rather efficiently, though there were some interesting times to be had for sure. You both are severely beaten as you fought, I believe it was a total of 7 men. 6, what we are referring to as monks. They all appeared to be heavily mutated and changed. And able to wield magic in some form. You also killed a samurai, and the one and the same that you saw directing people to murder you after you guys escaped your captivity. You murdered him as well, not before he severely wounded Marius Wolf, however. I might add, you do have a deep, deep wound in your right arm currently. You don't have any effects of it because you recovered, but you will probably have a nasty scar across that bicep from here on once it heals. So just keep that in mind. You guys then managed to hear some kind of whispering or something of the sort and found a smaller room towards the back of said passage. After you looked at the altar of probably chaotic items of some kind, where you found a skull, a stack of bloody pages, possibly made from skin, and a book, a tome of some kind. Do you have the name written down, Marius Wolf, since you collected it?
I didn't think I read what it said.
You knew the name, and because you don't know it right now, I am making a mental note to hurt you in some way in this game now. So, yep, I know the name, but I'm not saying it because you didn't write it down, so that's frustrating me a little bit. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll deal with
Sure,
this
it's
later.
a good name, you know.
It was a great name, but you don't know it now. You're gonna have to go check the old video now. But regardless, you collected a tome bound in black leather, which you did see that your scroll that you had, this mysterious scroll that you collected in the very first episode, was grafted into, almost as if the book ate and consumed the page. Though there is a very interesting, possibly magical lock on said book, and you have yet to find the key. You entered into the passage at the back after not being able to smash the rather rotten-looking skull on the altar as well, and found a room with a hanging, mutilated corpse of a dark elf, and a large amount of captives, probably where you guys might have been bound to in your cage. There were 12 in all, plus a man of the Empire whom may have shared some experiences with Mr. Seamus MacReady. Do you remember his name, Seamus?
I did earlier today, and at the moment I don't.
Okay, the points deducted as well for you. You will both suffer. You will both suffer for this indiscretion.
I was trying to recap what happened. I was like, oh yeah, I met this guy. He had a very normal name.
He did. He had a very normal name. He's missing an eye. Well, he's heavily wounded. You're not sure if it's missing, but it's just the state of these people is very beaten and emaciated. You also found another cell separate from them, which had 2 dark elves in it. A man and a woman, a very, very tall man, and a tall woman, though not tall for the elves that you've come across thus far. And Marius Wolf, being the good guy he is, despite probably Jumbo Smooth's better judgment, let them out and somewhat allowed them to escape in a way. Due through some mistrust, and they got a clean breakaway. Then once you entered back into the room, you noticed that the skull that you had seen on the pedestal and could not break was missing. You then were directed, or then given a plea by Gerard, is his name, as he can somewhat speak to the captives. He can somewhat speak to the captives, and on basic terms. And he told you that there is a large food store or something of that kind. There's some kind of storage place that one of the captives knew about nearby inside this building, as you guys are both rather low on food, and feeding 13 more people is going to be interesting, to say the least, if you plan on still keeping track of them. So you're on your way to this storage room. And on your way, you came across several dead bodies of guards. The same kind of guards, the same clothing and armor and weapons as the guards that you slew on your way in. Though these appeared to be murdered already and had very interesting wounds that appeared to have kind of black markings around them, almost as if the flesh was possibly decaying from whatever damage was inflicted. You then made it to the storage room, and I believe Marius broke the lock that was attached to the outside, and you opened it, and that was where we left off. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, let's get into this. All right. Before you, as the door slides open, I believe Marius was in the front. The room is decently lit, as much lit as the hallway. It is interesting because at a glance, it reminds you of the room that you met. Well, you didn't meet. That you, met with Brandyfoot all those long weeks ago. Almost like a storage room for equipment and goods of some kind. There are shelving units inside of this room. The room looks old, the same as the rest of the building. There's a thin layer of dust on most of the shelves, but there are a different assortment of goods and materials lining the shelves from wall to wall. There are several sets, and it looks like a decently sized room, though not large. But that is not immediately what draws your attention. What immediately draws your attention, Marius, is as you slide the door back, you see a bloody trail leading from where the door opened further into the room, and it looks like it takes a turn behind one of the shelving units. What would you guys like to do in this moment?
When I put my armor back on, I'm assuming I took the mask that the guard had as well, the rat mask.
Okay, yes, that would be acceptable.
I'm gonna put that on and give it a sniff,
Okay, go ahead and make me a perception test at plus 30.
That would be 41 out of 64.
Okay, so 2 levels of success. All right, that's pretty good for smelling. You're at a minus 10 for seeing, so that would mean that you failed your sight test, however. So, right. With putting the mask on, the slits are narrow and you can't see as well. But you do smell something further in the room. You smell blood. It smells rather fresh, in fact. And you can tell it's definitely in the direction, and it's pooling heavily in the direction of where the trail is leading behind the shelving unit. You do not smell anything else in this room, but you do get a hint of some kind of animal, possibly musk or scent of some kind, all about you. Not just in this room, but kind of in the hallway and some of the other places. It's very, very, very faint, but you do smell it nonetheless. And you can't quite place it.
Okay. All right. I kind of lift up my mask and kind of nod at Seamus and kind of in the direction of the blood.
Okay.
And I'm going to grab my pick and kind of slowly walk over there.
Are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just going to walk in?
I mean, I feel like the element of stealth is probably gone since I broke open the lock, you know.
That's true.
So I'm probably just slowly walking. I would think
You slowly walk in.
just kind of be ready.
Yeah. You kind of. Are you still wearing the mask, or did you take it off completely?
No, I lifted it up. Yeah.
Okay. So, you walk in. Seamus, are you following?
Yes.
Okay. Are you crossbow at the ready?
Yeah, did I get any arrows back? I don't remember if we discussed that.
I believe you recovered two bolts. Yeah, you recovered 2 bolts.
Yeah,
So I'm going to allow you to have reloaded those 2 bolts without you having to make a test or anything. You're familiar enough with this weapon at this point that you can reload it at ease, especially if there's any downtime.
I'll walk in slowly with the crossbow at the ready.
The men with you, Gerard is with you, as well as the one that was leading you was one of the Nipponese captives. A shorter guy, he kind of has a nasty looking, like pedophile looking mustache that's kind of draping down over his mouth. Of course, you probably couldn't pronounce his name, but that's his most distinguishing feature. It's very thin and very greasy looking, but he's the one, and he's kind of pressed against the wall on the outside, kind of glancing in as you guys walk past. And Gerard begins following. He's walking behind you, Seamus, unless you say otherwise.
All right.
And Gerard is glancing around as you begin walking through. Do you turn the corner, Marius Wolf?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You get to the edge of the
alert,
shelving.
I am.
Okay. You turn the corner, and you see a body. And judging from the tattooing and the clothing, it is definitely one of those oh-so-dreadful monks that you murdered not too long ago. Nothing too remarkable about him, except for the fact that there appears to be a rather large throwing star of some kind jabbed into his chest. And the wound around it is blackened, and there are almost like veiny, dark, almost like roots kind of spreading from the wound itself, as some kind of poison or corruption is spreading through his body. He's not moving, and the head is slumped down.
I'm going to go over there and kind of press my pick up against him to see if he makes a movement.
You kind of press. How hard are you pressing? Like, are you trying to knock him over, or just kind of just nudge him?
Marius medium strength, you know?
Okay, so you press him fairly decently, and he slides.
Maybe break a...
What were you going to say?
I said maybe break a rib or something, you know?
You hit him hard then.
Yeah, well, Marius
Damn.
medium.
Jesus. Okay. Is this with just the flat of the pick, or are you jabbing this into him?
Pick. This is the flat of the pick. Just pressing against him.
Just give me a. You know what? No, we'll do it this way. Before you do that, go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right. No shit. It's a fail this time. It's a 41 again, but it's out of 34.
Okay.
My mask on.
So you press into him. I mean, pretty hard, and the body just slides to the side, and you see that his right arm kind of awkwardly is underneath him, and it is closed in a fist. And there's something metallic or something, you're not sure what it is. There's something grasped in his hand very firmly as he kind of just lays there after taking the bludgeon that you just put into his side. Doesn't appear to be moving.
Okay. I'm going to try to reach down and see what he has there.
Okay. You reach down, and Seamus, at this point, you can turn around the side and aim your crossbow at him if you choose.
Uh-huh.
And you reach down and you grasp his hand, Marius, and you begin pulling the fingers. And as soon as you do, the eyes shoot open, and he opens his mouth full of serrated teeth and bites you in the throat.
Oh, gee! Can I defend myself?
This would be considered a surprised condition, since you failed miserably in your perception test.
It wasn't miserably. It was up.
You can. Here's what you can do if you'd like. You can spend a resolve point to remove said condition, and then we will just roll initiative and see if you can beat him before he sinks his teeth into you.
All right, I shall do so.
Okay.
I'll use a resolve point.
All right, so, you were kind of on edge to begin with, and as soon as you just almost naturally see movement as the mouth opens and there's these jagged, serrated teeth, go ahead and roll me initiative. You as well, Seamus.
All right. Ooh, that's not very good. That's a 4.
Okay, how about you, Seamus?
I rolled a 10.
Nice.
Total?
Yes.
Okay, well, he rolled a 16. So, the heavily wounded and very almost on death's door monk. What were you going to do?
I'm assuming he's about to attack Marius.
He is.
So can I use my fast action on my katana and skip ahead of him?
Sadly, you're not in melee with him. Otherwise, you could.
Ah.
If you were in melee, you could, but you're not in melee with him. So he is going to lunge towards you, Marius. I need you to, given your current state, I need you to make me a dodge roll.
All right. Ooh, that's going to be a 47 out of something small. 26.
Okay, do you want to re-roll it?
Yeah, I'll re-roll it.
Okay, go ahead and re-roll it using a fortune point. Get these out of the way early.
I know. That's going to be a 21 out of 26.
Is that so? That's just a success.
Yeah.
Sadly, he had 1 degree of success. He barely beat you on it. So you feel Marius as even though you kind of got your senses about you, he just moves too quickly. The teeth sink into your throat for only 4 wounds as he bites into your throat and pulls away a little bit of skin, and blood starts kind of coalescing out of the wound. You can negate it by your toughness bonus, which is more than that. So you only take 1 wound, essentially, from this.
Okay. Okay.
'Tis but a scratch. So he pulls back, and then with his left arm, he's grabbing a hold of the star in his chest and rips it out, and in the same motion attempts to slice you across the throat. At this point, you can try to defend yourself with your pick if you like.
Okay. I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. I rolled a 41 out of 51. That's 3 41s.
That's a success though.
Yeah.
And he swings wide as you bring the pick up, and almost not needing to bring the pick up, it just kind of feebly bounces off of the weapon, and that is the end of his turn. So Seamus McGreedy, it is now your turn.
All right, I'm gonna move up. Am I within crossbow range?
Oh yeah, you're in. This is close quarters, but
yeah.
you definitely are almost point blank range with the crossbow.
All right, I'm gonna unleash the crossbow on him.
Okay, he is currently lunging at Marius, and he's kind of flailing around. So you'll be at a -10. This will be kind of a difficult shot for you.
All right, I'll give it a shot here. -10. Ooh, 42 out of 46.
Okay, that's more than enough. 42, that hits him. Oh, I forgot to pull that up. Damn it.
Probably a body shot.
I want to say it is, but let me just make sure. Nope. You actually take him in the right shoulder, but it is at this close range. The bolt just passes through the shoulder and sinks and deep. Like you could just see the tip of the almost kind of fletching on the back of it, sticking out of the wound as it digs in very deep into him, and you hear him just kind of, and then he just falls limp, and this time is obviously dead compared to what he was before. As he collapses, his hand that you were trying to pry open, Marius, falls open, and you see a key. It appears to be made out of bone. A solid piece of bone that has been carved into a very intricate and artistic rendition of a key.
I pick up said key after I this guy off of me.
Okay, easy enough. You more blood spattered across you, though you're probably already heavily covered in it. And I might need to add that Seamus also smells of burnt flesh, as he was lit on fire earlier as well.
That's true.
Yep.
Yes. So you guys are you've had better days for sure, but clutching at the wound in your neck, just kind of making sure it didn't get down too deep. Then you reach down, grab the key. He doesn't move, thankfully. It's a key. What would you like to do with it? Just pocket it, or what are you going to do?
I assume there's a counter there, correct? Right? Or is it behind a counter?
Yes, there would be kind of like a similar to like almost a countertop nearby that you could kind of put things on if you'd like.
Yeah, I kind of sigh and just found a key here, Seamus. I look towards the other Reiklander, or the man of Wissenland, and I brother, I didn't catch your name.
And he looks wide-eyed with fear, and he's like, Is it dead? Is it dead?
Quite.
Oh, Sigma be praised. And he's kind of clutching at his chest. He's like, oh.
I take my foot and just like stamp down on its head, just to make sure,
Yeah, and it caves in at Marius Wolf's very, very strong blow to the head. The skull just cracks and kind of bulges in a little bit. Blood and brains kind of shoots out the side. And he looks somewhat appalled, like he's going to start throwing up. He's like, oh, and then he kind of turns and kind of composes himself.
Sorry, brother. Your name?
Gerard Hetz.
Herr Hetz.
Yourself, good sir?
Marius Wolf.
Master Wolf.
This is my
Master
friend
Wolf.
Seamus McCready.
I have met Mr. Seamus before, though it all seems rather fuzzy.
Aye. That it does.
And while we're talking, I am taking out the tome and putting it on the counter, and taking the skull key and putting it on the counter as well.
Okay. You slam the tome down on the counter. The key perfectly fits in the lock.
I didn't try that yet.
Okay.
Okay. I wanted to do something first. Okay.
What are you gonna do?
I wanted to take my pin mask, and I wanted to put it on, and I wanted to look at the book and the key. But before I do so, I wanted to chat up Mr. Airhets.
Okay. As you're getting this already, go ahead.
Yeah.
And he's starting to kind of look through the shelving at this point, and kind of taking stock of what all's here.
Yeah. Would you tell our friends back there to gather any supplies they can find?
Of course, sir. And he'll begin walking towards the door, and he says something in Nipponese to the man at the door, who then begins walking further down the hall, and then slowly but surely, after like a minute or two, the captives, the other men of Nippon and women, and probably a child, probably around 10 or 11, begin filing into the room and then going through the shelves themselves.
Nice.
Is there anything else you'd like to do? Either of you?
Yeah, Airhets, how do you know Seamus?
Well, and he kind of looks at Seamus. It's very fuzzy. The last thing I remember was we were fighting a battle. We were killing slain beastmen in Wissenland, of all places. Somewhere deep in the south, very far from the war, despite the Templar recruiting us for war efforts, I was told. I don't know much about Mr. McCready, but I know we're served together. I just feel like we have. And the last thing I remember is the Templar ordering us into this cave. And then I woke up here in this godforsaken land. I've been here for quite some time. Or at least I think I have. I don't know. And he kind of starts mumbling to himself a little bit.
May they have mercy on you. It sounds like you've gone through quite the ordeal.
Indeed, Master Wolf, indeed. And he just kind of glances up at Seamus. McCready, do you have any idea why we came here?
I can tell you how me and Marius got here, but my story's a little different from yours. I woke up back in the Empire, with shackles and a noose around my neck.
And he looks a little disturbed. Yeah, he looks like his features kind of he looks a little taken aback by what you just said.
I don't know how either of us could have gotten to this country, this place. How we would have met each other here before.
Surely you did not march through that evil tunnel.
I know not what you speak of. All I know is I ended up here. There were more of us, of course. They were taken.
Well, I believe our way home, gentlemen, is with this book here. I'm going to take a look at it with this mask, and then I have a feeling this key will fit into this lock. And I put on my mask and take a look at.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead and make me a cool test, Marius Wolf.
Oh, gee. That's a 21 out of 60.
Okay, man, you have pretty high cool. All right, well, you shift the mask on, and the first thing you notice is, whereas usually most of the times you've put this on in the past, the recent past, the world appears to be gray and colorless, with the small threads and winds of shifting magic, you assume, swirling about, not exactly condensed or anything of the sort. But as soon as you put this mask on, this entire room is full of colors. The building itself appears to be infused with it. The wood and paper kind of walls and things like that appear to be infused with colors, all kinds of colors. The air is thick with blues and greens and whites and purples, similar to the altar that you experienced, the kind of dome, kind of colorless, almost strange colored dome that covered it while the monks were still alive. And you see the all of the colors and all of the nearby architecture and the wood and the air itself is being pulled above. It's like being pulled up through the ceiling. It's very, very strange. But as you do you glance up at the ceiling by chance?
Yeah, I'd probably be glancing.
Yeah, because it's just very kind of shocking at first. And you glance up, and it appears that it is just being pulled at almost an accelerated rate through the ceiling, even quicker as it is rising from the very floor and the fabric and everything itself. And it is a little concerning, almost like reverse rain, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But you can't, as far as you can tell, it's going further up. You have no idea how far up. You can only see to the ceiling itself. But you glance back down at the book, and there is a hideous skull-like face looking you dead in the eye, with empty sockets for eyes, and curling 4 sets of curling horns on the sides of its head. 2 going up, 2 curling to the side, and then 2 curling down around the side of the face. And it appears to be shifting and moving. But it looks like it's trying to pull itself from the binding of the book, but it is not capable of it. It is thrashing and trying to pull itself free, but it can't. The key also lights up, and it is a swirling mass of colorless magic. Definitely emanating kind of like an earthly glow about it, though it has not one single color. It appears to be a conglomeration of many, as well does the book itself.
When I'm looking at the skull, does it say anything? Can I hear anything?
It doesn't speak. it looks like it's screaming, but you don't hear anything.
Yeah. Sigma, help us! And I kind of like rip the mask off really quick.
Okay, you take the mask off. Good. That's probably a good decision.
Seamus. There it is. This book, when I looked at it with the mask, there was some demon looking back at me
and
trying to release itself.
And you at the mention of demons, Hess begins making a sign, almost like a warding sign with his fingers, like peasant superstition. Sigma be praised.
Yeah, Seamus, I don't know. If Sigma would be enough for this situation, I mean, maybe you say a prayer to your ancestors and we can get home.
Marius, you said this is our ticket home, but you're telling me this book of demons.
I do not know if I should open it. It seems fraught with trouble. I looked to Gerard.
Mm-hmm.
Gerard, would you ask one of these natives if they know what this book is?
And he kind of nods his head, and he looks over at the mustachioed man in particular, since he's kind of nearby, and speaks to him. And the man looks at the book, and his eyes go a little wide, and then he kind of nods his head forward, like in a yes motion.
What did he say, Gerard?
Gerard just kind of looks back, and he's like, he says he recognizes it, but I don't know the words. I don't know. I'm not sure what he's saying. He keeps saying the word "sin-si." I can't fucking say it because it's Japanese. So he's saying a particular name.
Okay. I kind of motion over for the pervy-looking man to come over closer to the counter with us.
The mustachioed man, the emaciated, kind of bloodied mustachioed man, kind of. He doesn't looks like he wants to go, but you guys are heavily armed, and he isn't. So he kind of puts his head down and walks over to you, Marius.
I then take the key. Seamus, do you think I should open this book?
Might as well give it a shot, I guess. Who knows, maybe if you open it, we immediately get back into the Empire, you know?
That would be nice. So I take the key and I start...
A big demon comes out and kills us, you know? Who cares?
Who cares? I take the key and I start to slowly put it towards the book. Does the pervy man do anything when I'm doing this?
His head is down and he's averting his gaze. He's just kind of like not wanting to look at the book.
All right, I'm doing it. Putting it in. Turning the key.
You put it in. You put it in hard. You turn that key. The clasp click and falls open. And in that exact moment, I need Marius Wolf to make me another cool test.
Oh,
gee.
Don't look into the light.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's a 5 out of 60.
Okay, yeah, easily enough. You compose yourself as the book slams itself open, and the pages, which there are not many, begin rustling past quickly, and then they stop, and an image burns itself into your mind, almost like you're seeing a vision, though there's lots of heat and anger or something. And you see on the page, which then begins inking itself in what you think might be blood. You see a depiction of the door that you came through with the raven skull motif, the raven skull mask above it, and the kind of mountainside and the large cherry blossom tree with bodies hanging. And in the picture, they are moving, swaying back and forth, as if the picture was alive. And you see a symbol drawn onto the door frame, the rock door frame. And you immediately feel a connection with the symbol. You're not sure what it is, but you feel it. And then the pages go inert and they go blank.
I'd like to try to remember that symbol as best I can.
You don't have to. You almost, if you were to blink and close your eyes, you would see it.
Okay.
Like it is seared into your mind.
Okay. Seamus, did you see any of that?
I did. Those pictures were moving.
You saw nothing, Seamus.
Oh, damn it.
You just saw the book slam open, and that's it. You just saw Marius this 100-yard stare at the book, and he's actually been like that for about a minute at this point. Just staring at blank pages.
Fairness, I didn't see anything. The book just opened, but the pages were all blank.
I saw the tunnel that we came here in. I saw the tree with the bodies hanging. They were swinging. Then I saw the door itself, and a sigil appeared on the door, and then nothing. And I close the book and take out the key and lock it back. And
you don't need to lock it yourself. As soon as you close the book, the clasp immediately hammers home and locks itself.
Oh, that's comforting. Sigma, this place, Seamus. It's not right. And I put it in a bag.
Okay.
All right. Have they kind of gathered supplies? How are we looking on supplies?
They have gathered. You're not sure what they've gathered. They've been gathering things together. Do you guys want to look through this room yourselves?
Yeah, figure help Seamus look through it.
Okay.
You know?
You're gonna help Seamus look.
Yeah, he's better at it. You know?
Okay. Yeah, Seamus, you can roll perception with a +10 since we're metagaming.
Hell yeah.
That is going to be a 2.
Holy shit! Out of
the +10 out of 61.
Okay, that's impressive. Got it. All right, so you begin scanning through the shelves, and you hear Erhetz, Sigma be praised! And he rushes over to one of the shelving units, and there is, it appears to be a uniform. It is, in fact, the colors and standards of the Standing Army of Wissenland. And there is a breastplate, and he begins clasping it on. It looks heavily used and worn. There's blood spattered across it, but you get the idea that this is probably his equipment. He clasps on the breastplate, and he pulls on some new trousers. He just drops trow and just starts putting his pants on and everything in front of everybody. No shame at this point. And he retrieves a sword and a shield. Actually, he retrieves a helmet as well. It is all spattered and looks very used. But you also see that there is plenty of foodstuffs. In fact, there's so much that you guys are probably going to have to decide how much you want to take with you. It appears to be mostly dried foods, like dried meats, and you see a lot of rice, though you don't know what rice is, but it's there. And some vegetables as
We've
well.
eaten it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you have eaten it before, but you wouldn't know what the fuck it's called. But regardless, yeah. So you see plenty. There's tons of food here. With that perception check, Seamus, you also see, glancing over at Erhetz as he kind of is exclaiming, that there appears to be a small collection of armaments on this part of the pantry or whatever this room you want to call it is. And you go over to the shelving unit that he is, and you see, in addition to his stuff, it appears to be this really uniquely looking black leather armor. You recognize it immediately as the armor that the Dark Elves wear. The Corsairs that you met on the beach. Now, you go to pull it off of the shelf, and it is heavily shredded. Like, you just have material in your hand. It's all but useless as you pull it off. But as you remove it, a large bundle flops down onto the floor. And you reach down and open the bundle, and there's a bundle of 20 repeater crossbow bolts laying across the floor. I'm assuming you bundle it back up and and stow those because of your excellent perception check. In addition to that, you also find, as you're looking at the shelving unit, you also find 2 bags of powder. They look eerily similar to the powder you once held. The powder that Marius Wolf shoved into your wounds and probably cleansed you of infection. So you have 2 bags of that. And then you also find, with your very good perception check, you find more gear, more kind of uniforms, though it's not considered armor, it's just kind of like colors and whatnot, of other Empire soldiers, perhaps. Though you don't see any around, so they must have met a grisly fate. And tucked into one of the breeches pockets, or not breeches pockets, one of the kind of sacks that some of these soldiers carry around, that you would know from your unit, Seamus. You open it up and you recognize that this particular sack was carried by a certain individual. You get a flash through your mind of a certain person, though the face is a little muddled. But you recognize the backpack itself, the pack itself. And as you open it up, you immediately know that you're going to find something interesting in this bag. This was important for some reason. There were a few men in your unit that had these bags on them, just a handful, for the entire company of men that were gathered by this Templar, this witch hunter. And you open it up and you start digging through it, and you find a collection of bandages. You see 2 that appear to be within use, so probably one for you and one for Marius. You also find like a wooden splint, various other things. You find a few herbs, though you're not sure what they do. They must be useless. Kind of toss those aside, and then your hand clinks on something glass inside, and you pull out another, almost like a leather satchel. Open it up, and there are 5, what you see from the viscous liquid inside, healing potions. At least that's what we're calling it. They probably have a different name in Reichspiel, but for our purposes, there are 5 healing potions inside this satchel.
I'll take that satchel and I'll toss it over to Marius.
Okay.
Say, here, look what I found.
Seamus, great find. Just sing poppy praises. Almost nothing more I'd like to see right now.
I also found some herbs, but I don't know the fuck these 2. I'll just toss those to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I got some bandages as well.
Fine, Hall. I divvy up. How many potions do you want, Seamus?
I don't know. I think there was a couple in there, so I'll just take 2, and you can have the rest.
All right, I hand him 2 of the potions.
Okay. All right. So you guys have adequately split that. It is at this point, I need to ask, are you going to allow the men in the room to arm themselves?
I've been thinking about that too. Like, what should you do? I'll probably talk to Seamus, I guess, about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Seamus, do you think we should allow these men to arm themselves? We haven't had a ton of success with the people of this land.
I know, but we got Gerard over there, and he seems like he can handle himself in a fight plus the 2 of us. As long as they stay in front of us, they can't stab us in the back.
That is true. Gerard,
Maybe they can leave us back to that village.
we do have some unfinished business. Gerard, do you know
Yes,
where
Wolf?
these people are from?
Oh, I do not know this land. I know they surely must be locals, but I don't know the words for what places they speak. I don't understand them.
Do you know, just curious, do you know the word for coward?
I know the word for rat.
I guess that will do. Tell me this word. You don't have to say it, but
Yeah. And he'll tell you the word that they've said, and he'll explain that he knows it because a few rats once crawled into the cages with them, and they killed them and ate them.
Okay. Do you think we should arm them? Airhest.
I don't know. They've not tried to harm me amongst them, but I would probably give this decision to you two. You appear to be more experienced in these matters.
How experienced we are in these matters.
That is. We haven't had not the best luck in this land. Airhest. Would you mind gathering them all up real quick?
Okay. He kind of calls out, and the rest of them begin. Are you like gathering in the hallway, or are you just kind of gathering in this room?
I guess kind of gathering in this room. I don't know how big it is.
Yeah, you call them over. There's a larger space where you guys are standing currently, and they all begin filing in. You can see most of them. There's probably a few in the back that you can't make eye contact with.
Gerard, tell them to gather weapons.
And he will. He says something. Just a few clipped words, and then the one with the mustache, the creepy one, kind of nods his head and kind of just a smirk. And he actually pulls out a knife that he had tucked into his belt, and shows everyone, and then puts it back. And then the rest of them kind of begin looking around the room. They don't find much, but you do notice that a few of the men already have spears that they picked up off the dead people that you were walking past on the way here. Yeah. Yes, and with that being said, they will collect weapons as needed.
Okay. There has, I think, like we've said, we've had some bad luck. So I'm gonna do something that might be a little distasteful now. Just to get our point across.
He just kind of he kind of looks at you and he's like, "Well, Master Wolf, well, I mean,
call them. I try to mimic the words he used to call them over if I can. I don't know if, or I just make it like a big like clearing my throat. You know.
Yeah.
Just to garner everyone's attention.
Uh-huh.
And I want to take the dead monk.
Uh-huh.
And jump onto the counter.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to try to take my hand and, if I can, punch it into his chest.
Jesus. What? Like Temple of Doom style? Like
Kali Ma.
Like Kali Ma?
I want to do like an intimidation check. Yeah, like
I'll tell you what. You slammed the. I mean, Jesus! You slammed the monk's corpse. Who the head is caved in. I mean, it looks it's like dangling there. You slammed the corpse onto the onto the shelving, and like the few women kind of look. And they kind of shift a little bit. They look a little upset, and the men kind of wide-eyed, like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then you proceed to hammer your fist into its chest for no apparent reason to them. They don't know what you're saying. And
they don't.
Go ahead and give me an intimidation check.
Just a feat of strength.
I'll give you a plus 20 on this.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I think it's pretty intimidating, you know? All right, that's that's actually a 20 out of 80.
Okay, so needless to say, in the fluid movement, you don't punch through his chest. You're not like you're not. If you were on Essence of Tarkag, maybe, but just you yourself, you at least hammer home hard, and all the ribs crack immediately, and the chest kind of gives a little bit. Since there wasn't much keeping this guy together at this point. And it just rings out in this sickening pop sound as the ribs break. And a few of the men even kind of shudder at this feat of strength. And they look adequately cowed down, if that was what your motivation was. As well as Erhetz looks equally terrified at what you just did. Master Wolf, please. Please, there's no need for this.
I take the body and I toss it down in front of everyone, you know, like throw it down.
Okay.
I hop down.
As soon as the body hits the floor, all of you hear a boom, and the entire structure begins to tremble. Almost like an earthquake, and it's very brief but very loud. The dust begins shaking from the ceiling, and the lights, the low kind of lights flicker back and forth as the sconces therein begin to move. And Erhetz looks around. By the gods, what have you done?
I don't think that's us. Erhetz. Seamus. Looks like we're out again.
We must leave this place.
Oh, here we go.
So we kind of like push our way to the front and try to get us out of here.
Okay. Are you going to follow the path back that you took into this place? I'm assuming you're not going to deviate from that path, since you know it's the way out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You don't want to fall in any of my traps, of course. So you begin, and how quickly are you guys moving? Are you moving at a quick pace?
A hurried pace, yeah. If it's shaking the whole mountain.
As you're moving, you hear another boom, boom, two this time, and the building shakes each time, and you actually see a roof tile as you guys are moving splits and falls to the ground right before you, kind of clattering against the ground, and or not a tile, just whatever the top of this hallway you're in is, like wood and whatnot, kind of splinters and falls down before you, And you both kind of get out of the way. Some of the women in the back are screaming at this point. And you keep moving forward. In this heightened state, I'm going to need both of you to make me perception tests.
All right.
All right. That's 27 out of 34.
27 out of
just
34.
success.
How about you, Seamus?
I got a 30 out of 51.
Okay, good. So you guys come to a T intersection and you don't recognize it. You know that you took the path. You're moving the same direction that you took in here, but somehow, some way, it looks like the hallways have shifted or something. And you come to a T intersection and you begin glancing back and forth, nervous. And you see to the left, you see like a flicker of movement. And to the right, you see nothing. And you instinctively follow to the left.
Okay.
You keep moving at your hurried pace, and you zigzag through a few corridors. And you see just the flicker of movement at the edge of your vision every once in a while. It's almost like a trick of the light. You keep following it until eventually you come to a corridor where there are two dead bodies, and you recognize them as the ones you slew and took the uniform and armor from. And you know that you are just moments from being outside. Kind of a bit of relief washes over you, and then two more large booms sound out, shaking the building once again. I'm assuming you just make a bolt for the door.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So you make a bolt for the door, and as you do, you notice that the mist that was outside appears to have condensed even more so than it was before, and it is a thick fog outside. You run through the door out into the open air, and you smell the interesting smells of this very unique place that you're in. Mostly the smell of blood at the moment, as there are several large decaying ogre corpses nearby, or just bleeding out. They're not so much decaying yet. But the air is thick around you, and you kind of can't see where you're going, but you also smell. It smells like burning. Something's burning nearby. You glance up, and the roof of the temple that you were once in is completely burning. It's on fire. And there's also another smell. A smell like raw energy. Raw power of some kind. Me and you would know it as the smell of electricity.
Oh, yeah.
And it just lingering around. And then you hear another boom! And I need both of you to make me endurance tests.
Oh. Normal test.
Normal tests.
All right. Mine's a 52 out of 60.
Okay. How about you, Seamus?
I got a 16 out of 55.
Okay. So you guys are both fine. Off to your right, as you're looking at the building, high up, you see an arc of electricity, of lightning, slam into the nearby face of the mountain, and just rocks explode out of it and start tumbling down towards the building itself, caving in a portion. And the hot light and sound might have deafened and blinded you in the process, but you both managed to shield yourself from the brunt of the sheer force of nature that you just saw. And in that exact moment, you hear two more booms higher up. And as you glance up, even through this thick fog, it's almost as if every time the lightning strikes, it just illuminates in a bright flash the fog, and there's odd shapes behind it. As you glance up, the fog kind of dissipates briefly for a moment, and you see a massive figure towards the top of one of the many peaks of the mountain. And it is wreathed and lightning. And the lightning appears to be striking it and then bouncing from it into the nearby walls of the mountain itself. And you both just hear this almighty roar ring out. What are you guys doing?
What is it?
It is high up, and for you to be able to see it from this distance, it is massive. But you can't get a shape. You could just tell it's a huge thing, a huge creature up there in the mountain, wreathed in lightning.
Marius, we got to get the fuck out of here. Now.
Agreed. And
All right. I'm assuming you're just making a run for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the captives that you had with you are and they're in panic mode. Unless you guys do something about it, they are completely panicking.
I mean, let them panic.
Okay.
I just don't know. I'd probably try to shout something. Marius would try to shout something, but I don't know if they would understand.
Okay.
Try to get them to come along.
All right. Do you have the leadership skill?
I do.
Go ahead and make me a leadership test.
Okay. Straight or minus?
It'll be just a straight test.
I got a 31 out of 37.
Okay, that is so. You kind of bellow out something, and Hetz looks terrified, but he straightens up. I'm assuming you're. What would you say to them if you could?
Probably say no, that's dumb. Sigmar will protect us, and just kind of shout it out,
Yeah.
Just try to keep it
Hetz
waving.
Hetz looks a little more emboldened, but the rest of them don't know what you're saying. But then Hetz glances back and says something to them, and some of them kind of start to compose themselves and just begin following you at a very fast pace. There's a handful of them that are almost like wild animals at this point, and the others are trying to get them under control. And I'm assuming you're just bolting through the large doorways that are barely open that you moved earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, you charge through the open doorways, and the fog is beginning to dissipate, almost as if it's being sucked towards the creature at the top. Almost like the magic you saw coalescing earlier. And as more is revealed around you, you burst through the open doors. You see the corpses lying about of the two ogres that are long dead, and you do see also, which you did not see before, there are two large statues nearby. They were towards the edges of the walls that you didn't see before. And they are massive. They appear to be almost like a blend between a Pekingese and a large lion. And they would be probably about 7 foot at the shoulder. Very large statues. And as you're running through, I need both of you guys to make me perception tests.
Okay.
Ooh. I got a 92.
I love it.
I got an 86.
I love it both. Does anybody want to re-roll?
I'll re-roll one of mine.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a 31 out of 51.
Okay, good. Much better. So as you burst through the doors, and you notice those, both of you do, Marius, you're still in a little bit of a panic, and you're still trying to make sure the rest of the people with you are coming and not just going into the fetal position somewhere. So you're somewhat distracted, but Seamus, you, with your eyes wide and your almost terror-stricken state, you glance over and you notice that one of the statues, the head begins to tilt, and you hear as it's looking in your direction now.
Oh, Meredith, we gotta run faster.
All right. It's at this point I would need.
All right.
I need you guys to make me athletics tests to see how fast you can run.
Oh, not very. Oh, fuck. I had to reroll. I rolled a 99, a critical fail.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to reroll.
Okay,
I'm
reroll
gonna reroll, though.
Reroll it.
Okay. Oh, that's much better. That's a 7 out of 26.
Ooh, how about you, Seamus?
I got a 33 out of 27.
Ooh, okay. It's just a failure.
Ooh,
it's not too
critical
bad.
fail. That's
So,
a critical fail, isn't it?
No, you said 22, right? Or 23?
33.
Oh, 33. That is a critical fail.
Yeah, that's a 33.
Yeah. Do you want to? Is it?
Yeah. This. Go ahead.
You're gunning for 27. Is that what you said?
27's my.
You could use a fortune point and just make it a success, and it won't count as a critical fail if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that instead of rerolling.
Okay. All right. Yeah, instead of rerolling. So barely. So Seamus, you trip for a second on a rock, but you right yourself quickly enough. Marius, likewise, you kind of see some of the unnatural foliage at your feet and what looks to be some kind of strange bush that you almost ran into. Correct your course and keep running. And as you do, you hear some of the men in the back begin to shout, "Ah, ah," as the statues shake their heads almost like living creatures and begin stretching and then just bellow out. And as they do, more lightning strikes down beside you guys as you're just making a full sprint for where you think the stairs are. Do either of you risk a glance back?
I don't.
Yeah, it might be one of those situations. Well, I'm going to do it for the viewers. Yeah, I glance back.
Okay, you glance back. So as you guys are full run, Marius, you glance back and you see whatever that creature was towards the top of the mountain. You just hear both of you feel a boom, this massive cacophonous sound, and the ground beneath your feet trembles as it lurches down from the peak and skids down the side of the mountain and collapses on top of the temple, flattening a large portion of it. And Marius, you can see this thing lumbering over the top of that 20-foot tall gate. It looks to be probably somewhere in the 40 to 50-foot range of height. The mist is coalesced around it, but you can see that it is wielding a large two-handed weapon of some kind. So it has arms. Though the shape of its form, it appears to be almost like a multi-legged creature. Like you've heard tales of like minotaurs and things like, or centaurs, things like that in the past, but centaurs specifically in Warhammer, but you've never seen one yourself, but it looks like it might have the lower body of some kind of quadrupedal animal. And there is just crackling energy breathing around it, and it screams once again. And when it does, the two statue dogs that were chasing you skid to a halt and begin charging back in the direction of the creature.
Oh.
More lightning is raining out. Are you still making a bead for the stairs?
Oh, yeah, we got to get out of here.
Okay, yes. All right, so you guys make it to the stairs. I need you to make me one more. No, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to make you guys do another athletics check. That was barely a success as it was. I will, however, make me a perception check at -20 because of the incoming mist and everything that is being sucked quickly from beyond the stairs in your direction.
Yeah, I rolled a 63 out of 34.
Okay. How about you, Seamus?
You said -20 out of
yeah.
14, sorry.
If it's a minus 20, I got a 29 out of 31.
Just barely. So with Mary's looking back, he probably slowed down a little bit. Seamus, you guys are at a full run, and then all of a sudden, you see the edge of the stairs. And you see the plummet off the cliff face of this mountain coming before you. There are no guardrails. And you have just enough time to skid to a halt and call back that the edge is fast approaching. Because you succeeded, Seamus, I will allow you to make me a very, very important leadership test that might decide the fate of several people with you.
Oh no!
All right. Oh, poor Gerard.
I know.
Ooh, that is a 24 out of 36.
Ooh, okay. So, making a quick decision, you call back, instinctively throwing out your arms. And Marius, you who were about to run full-fledged off the side of this cliff, skid to a halt behind Seamus as he throws his arms wide. And likewise, the captives with you and Gerard himself both do the same, just barely stopping in time before running like a herd of sheep off the side of this cliff. And you find the stairs and are able to take them down. And that is where we're going to take our break.